Hello, Americans. This is Max Norton reporting for WCNG and WCVP. And this is It's Your Money with State Treasurer Dale Folwell of the great state of North Carolina. And welcome, Mr. Treasurer. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. It's so great to be back with you, Max, and your listeners from Western North Carolina. And
yes, sir.
As I said on the last show, that if 5 people were in Murphy, North Carolina, and got into a vehicle individually to drive to the nearest state capital, the last one to arrive would be the one to go to Raleigh, North Carolina. And so us being able to bring Raleigh to your listeners is very important. And thank you for this opportunity.
Yes, sir, and thank you for coming on. Now, Mr. Treasurer, we have obviously a bank crisis. Everybody knows that, no duh. But wow. What can you tell us about that? Are we safe here in North Carolina?
Well, for the last 5 days, I've been very involved in what's going on with the news on the banking industry. And one of the 20 hats that I wear as the keeper of North Carolina's public purse is I chair the State Banking Commission.
Right.
2 of the banks that we regulate, for example, are BB&T Truist and First Citizens, that your listeners are very familiar with.
Yes, sir.
And the reason I mention that is that we also regulate 34 other state-chartered banks. And I'm wearing a lapel pin today that has NC on it. And what it really stands for right now at this point in time is no crisis.
Wow.
And we've always had a very conservative banking system. But obviously we can't say that for some of the banks that have gone under just in the last 7 days.
Right. Yes, sir. Now, is the Biden administration going to bail out some of these banks, in your opinion? I mean, I know that they're probably going to. It kind of looks like the Obama years again.
Well, it looks like the FDIC and the Treasury Secretary are going to make those depositors whole. They're not going to make the shareholders whole, but the depositors are going to be whole. And when I say no crisis at this time in North Carolina, one reason is that in some of these banks that went under, the amount of money that was sitting in those banks, there was a great percentage of that money that was uninsured.
Ooh.
And we have a pretty high percentage of insured deposits in North Carolina. Plus, we have a more diverse lending in our portfolio.
Yes, sir. Now, do you think because of all this, is this going to lead to, of course, with the banking and everything going on and banks are failing, do you think that because of that plus inflation, is that going to lead to higher interest rates, in your opinion? Well,
we're already experiencing higher interest rates, which is a result of inflation. And, inflation's a thief, Max.
It is.
It's the same kind of thief that would come and stick you up and take your wallet.
Right.
It's especially a thief on the lower and fixed income people of your communities because, when you have assets that can inflate, that's one thing. But a lot of lower and fixed income people don't have any assets that will inflate, and that's why it's a thief. And this is very critical. Last year was the first year in a very, very, very decades-long time that, the stock and bond market both dropped, in some cases, 15 and 20%.
Wow.
And that's one thing that's put some of these banks upside down.
Oh, boy. Now, what do you think about in what's your take on the different hospitals across the state and that they're trying to weaponize all of us if we owe them money?
Well, I refer to it as a cartel. And, and for your listeners, that obviously seems like a very strong word, but when I started taking classes, Max, at Winston-Salem State and ultimately in Jewett-St. Greensboro, I stuttered more then than I do now. And I was advised that when I was trying to find just the right word to go to the Webster's Dictionary or the Bible.
Right.
For your listeners, Max, a cartel is defined as association which is formed to restrict competition and raise prices.
Right.
This cartel, called the healthcare industry, controls the supply of their product through something called certificate of need. And if you take the first 3 letters, it's pronounced out loud a con. Secondly, they control the quality of their product, and we all see what's happening to the quality of health care in Western North Carolina with the HCA takeover and Admission Health. They control the access to this product, whether you can actually get served or not.
Right.
They control the price of this product, and then if you don't pay your bill, they will break your kneecaps and weaponize your credit score.
Oh, my goodness. That's true. Wow.
Yeah. And so we're having a forum in Charlotte, North Carolina. Going to be very highly attended at 2 o'clock on Thursday with the community college. And we're going to be talking about how Atrium, who's the leader of the cartel in North Carolina, how they continue to weaponize people's credit scores and put liens on their houses. In some instances, these people have to declare bankruptcy based on a product they would rather not consume. You know why? That means you're healthy.
Right.
And no one would tell you what it costs beforehand. So this is we're in a situation right now that people can't see themselves past their poverty, and we're going to have this medical debt de-weaponization forum in Charlotte on Thursday.
Wow, that is super. And that's going to be this coming Thursday. That'll be the 16th, March 16th, and that's at 2 p.m.?
That's correct, yes.
And where is that located, sir?
At the community college there in Charlotte, and people can go to our website, nctreasurer.com, and find out more.
Gotcha. Okay. And also, your phone number is 919-814-3807. That's 919-814-3807.
Well, yeah, the main number is 3800, yes.
Oh, 3800. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and this is It's Your Money with State Treasurer Dale Folwell. And Mr. Treasurer, do you have anything to add today?
Well, just I know that you told me your switchboard lit up. My mom was a switchboard operator, so that I love hearing that word.
Right.
When we talked about nccash.com last time,
that's right.
I think your listeners are realizing just the value of listening to this show called It's Your Money. But more importantly, they realize that nccash.com is a real thing. There's $1 billion. There's $1 billion sitting at nccash.com. I know you have some listeners from other states. Curtis Loftus down in South Carolina, and Georgia also had, and Tennessee all have an nccash.com equivalent. And at our nccash website, we're going to pay out about $110 million this year.
Wow!
And more importantly, all of your listeners should go there. The money stays there forever. There's no charge to make a claim. There's no charge to look up your name. And as I said, if you live in other states, you should go and check your name there at their equivalent of nccash.com. But these are the kinds of names you need to check, Max. Check your name, maiden, kids, parents, grandparents, Little League baseball team, Girl Scouts, your church name, $1 million that belongs to churches, and your nonprofit name and your business name. I have signed 2 checks in the last 3 weeks for $1.7 million each.
Wow.
Out of nccash.com. Most of the claims that are there are $200 or $300 or $400.
Right.
But just another valuable reason to listen to It's Your Money on your radio show.
Yes, sir. That's right. And that number in Raleigh for the state treasurer is 919-814-3800. That's 919-814-3800 or nctreasurer.com. Now, Mr. Treasurer, do you have anything else to add today?
No, I just love being on your show every couple of weeks and bringing value to the people of Western North Carolina, and we'll have a lot more to report in a couple of weeks.
Yes, sir, and I thank you very much for coming on. And everybody can tune in to It's Your Money every Wednesday and every Friday at noon, right after the national anthem, It's Your Money, with North Carolina State Treasurer Dale Folwell. And, sir, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, and have a blessed day.
Yes, sir, you too. Thank you, and God bless. This has been It's Your Money with State Treasurer Dale Folwell of the great state of North Carolina. Tune in every Wednesday and every Friday at noon right after the national anthem for It's Your Money.